Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Morgan. And
And-
this is episode 109.
What was about to take your line?
I don't know. That was just really funny.
That was really fucking rude of me. I cannot believe I was
How
literally...
dare you?
I mean, it's truly though.
Show stealer.
I need to...
Star stealer.
Star
She's a showstopper.
Show-
A panty dropper. Homie hopper.
Okay, so when I was in middle school, there was this jazz routine that this guy, his name was Will, he's our choreographer, choreographed for us. Will, new character.
You'll get it.
You'll get it soon. And he choreographed this dance. He was our jazz choreographer for competitive jazz routines. And he did this jazz routine to show so stopper, and we would have to, it was a leap at that point, so we would literally prep for the leap on the show stop hit and go down, and every time I hear that I'm like go leap hit every time.
Land, walk. Hilarious.
Oh my god,
Love it. So why do we look like we're screaming?
because we are screaming.
Oh, we are screaming.
We definitely are screaming.
Guys, happy Halloween app.
Oh
Well,
my god,
it's like Halloween week.
So this is officially the kickoff for Creeps and Crimes Halloween party.
Yeah. We're
yeah.
currently drinking witch's brew. Ride the witch's broom. Ride the witch's broom. No, we're actually calling it bitch's brew. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's actually making us mean. I
We're
think.
kind of being ruthless as fuck, and we've got to calm down.
So don't press us.
Yeah, we're you'll understand it on Halloween because we have a little special.
I need
gift
to know
for
right
you.
now if you added more sugar to your rim.
I didn't even take it with me.
Why is mine none?
Because you keep licking it off as a chaser, and I drink it through the sugar on my rim.
Oh yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
chomp,
Yeah.
munch.
So we're gonna post you guys this recipe if you want to drink it.
Don't.
It's not great. And it's just literally whatever the fuck we had in the cabinet.
And you'll
trying to
notice that
mimic.
it's literally all alcohol.
It's all
is
alcohol.
Moonshine, vodka, and
Liqueur.
a liqueur plus
Lemon
a
juice.
spritz of lemon juice.
Are you kidding? And we were like, oh my god.
martini.
We're like, yes. Hey guys, we're making this at 3:30 on a Friday. I guess that's that's granted. It's a Friday. And so I don't know.
Not even 2 days ago, I get a text. I think I'm gonna become sober
Just for a month.
just for a month. I'm like, okay, we're actually going to Oktoberfest next week.
Oh yeah, 2 days
you
after you
want-
listen to this.
Do you want to wait on that?
I'm like, yeah,
Or-
you're right. I need to wait.
Yeah, and you really don't drink
I
we
don't
used
drink
to.
a lot. We used to, specifically when we lived together, I drank a lot of wine.
Yeah.
You drinked a lot of, oh my God.
I drink a lot of vodka.
Yeah, we drank a lot. And then whenever
That's like college.
I worked in football though, I was
You're not an
still-
alcoholic till after college, and I think we have now.
I don't know. I borderlined on an unhealthy relationship with alcohol for a little bit. Definitely in the beginning of this podcast, I wasn't in my most healthy way with alcohol.
No, we were drunk every day.
Yeah, we were in a bad way. That was not a good time.
No, you guys really bless your charisma, and we're like, okay, I'm sorry, we're not fucking drunk every day.
sorry, I don't want to be hammered every time. It makes us feel like shit.
God.
I wake up so depressed after I get
Oh my
fucked
God,
up.
fuck. What did I say, Liz?
No, and then I have anxiety about anything that I did or
Editing.
said, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh,
Yeah.
it's rough.
We are fun drunks though.
Yeah, we
but
are
the
really-
witch's brew, it's ruthless.
So we're gonna keep.
Be wary.
It's really ruthless. So we're gonna keep our heavy, fun, drunk episodes for our
Holidays.
favorite holidays,
Which we found out is St. Patrick's Day and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, because Halloween is literally Irish. Technically Gaelic or Celtic, but we're going to get to that here in a little bit. You probably already know from the title of this, but we're going to bring you a full Halloween exclusive. We're telling you the history of Halloween together. Then I'm going to cover a true crime case, and Morgan's going to cover a creepy case.
Oh.
Ooh, we got to wrap it up with the scariest shit you've ever heard of.
Love.
And it's kind of like a true crime creepy.
Yeah, it is.
That's what-
it is. A true crime creepy.
It's exactly
It's
what it
perfect.
is.
It's perfect for Halloween because we're gonna hit you guys with something special in a couple days. So
Yeah, you've got something a little fun.
that's super creepy. So actually, this one's gonna be more light, celebrate the holiday kind of ordeal.
because we're wrapping up Halloween.
This is really our season 3 celebratory.
It really is because
episode.
we haven't had the time to really celebrate this. We've been killing ourselves trying to get here.
Yeah.
So we're finally back, which I know we said this in 108 that we're back in real time with you. But like right now, I feel really good. You know, like I feel like I'm in season 3.
Yeah.
Whereas in 108, I was frantic trying to.
108 was rough, guys.
Yeah, we
rough.
It was rough. We talked about it a little bit at the end about how we had to record it a million times.
Anyway, speaking of Oktoberfest, even though we're not speaking of it anymore, let's go back to it.
Okay,
guys, we are going to be at Oktoberfest in
Helen, Georgia.
And
yeah, when you're listening to this on Thursday,
I'm gonna eat a big fat fucking pretzel.
I'm gonna eat a big fat brat.
Frankenfurt.
A big fat fucking freaking furt.
Oh, big fat fucking cock. Sorry. You guys don't get it. It's a joke, okay?
It's so funny.
It's actually a joke between the boys, but we
stole it because it was so fucking funny.
I was like, did you just really say what I thought you said?
It was so funny. We have never laughed so hard in our lives. I think Patreon knows about that because we came back and recorded a Patreon episode. Or maybe we did tell it on a regular episode. But anyways, it was fucking hilarious. It was when we went on a little bit of a road trip.
Anyway, so we're super excited. We're doing that with some friends, and we are actually gonna try to do some interviews.
We never ordered
a mic, but we can always just use a phone.
Yeah, or we can just we still have technically from where we are, we have a whole entire week, so we have Amazon Prime.
Right, but we could totally just hey.
Yeah, but that audio quality is not gonna be good. I'm not. Oh,
it's time to be real. So we're actually gonna be real right now with you guys.
Okay,
so,
go ahead. I'm with that. Be real. Everybody smile. Where are you at? Get in your pose. Fix your chins.
1, 2, 3. Cheese.
Cheese. Love it. Looking good.
All right.
Good pick.
We're in, guys.
Love it.
Live on the Be Real. The whole entire people that are listening to 109.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that experience with me.
We have so many people in our Be Real. Literally. Nobody.
No, we have 6 people.
Yeah, because if you guys saw what we did every day, you guys would be like, why the fuck do I listen to them? They're dirty, annoying, stinky liars.
Does she even shower?
Like, do they even have a shower in their homes? Right. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Anyways, we had a really fun weekend this weekend.
Guys.
So, Morgan, tell them the big event that happened. Not the big event for CNC, but like the big event for us.
Okay, so the big event for us was the fucking Vols beat down on Alabama. Not beat down. Okay, they beat Alabama.
But I don't know. It pretty much could have been a beat down.
Could have been.
Because it was.
Would have been.
It was intense. It was intense.
Fucking electrifying, guys. Like, it was like all of Knoxville was cheering, like earthquake, like vibes.
We could hear, like, there was a point where you couldn't hear it all because there was so much noise. Like that when that field goal, we literally, first off, we were downstairs at a bar and there's a bar above it. And I thought the ceiling was going to come through. And I was thinking like, okay, we need to get closer to the door just in case.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even enjoy it.
But then I was like,
Morgan was inconsolable.
It was awesome.
And I was like, where's the exit? Just in case. Because I had to think for everybody for a second. Because I was like, for sure it's coming through and we're gonna die today.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was fucking
We had a great time that day.
And then,
oh my God, this is the best part. This is the best part. So we had been at a bar downtown and we were like, okay, let's go to another bar. So we switched bars and we went from like Southbound, which is more like rap and DJs, to the country bar across the street.
Which is more of a
type of moment.
More than Wallen.
So we walked over there. And we're sitting in this like back corner. And at this point, I had to stop drinking at the beginning of the 4th quarter because Logan was fucked, Morgan was fucked, Aaron was fucked, Aaron's friend was fucked. And we were like, I'm like, okay, I have a migraine anyways. I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. So I went ahead and stopped. And I was waiting. I mean, this is 4 hours later.
And we were sick as fuck because we had 4 pizzas.
We literally ate 4 pizzas.
I could order one of those right now.
Oh my God, I can't look at pizza for a solid 2 months.
No, I could literally eat it right now.
I've never been so sick in my life. So we're sitting there and I'm just kind of like fighting for my life at this point. And by the way, you want to know what we were drinking?
No, you don't.
You want to know what we were drinking? Jameson ginger limes.
So, AKA St. Patty's Day.
AKA we were going in, bitch. Like that's how you know Morgan and Taylor are going in. We go up to the bar, we're like, can we get 3 Jameson ginger limes? Thanks. So I'm sitting there fighting for my life. My stomach is in knots and Logan is talking to everybody. Morgan is having Aaron whisper crazy shit in her ear because he was on a different fucking level.
No, Aaron was whispering in my
And then all of our friends showed up. So we were there for like 4 hours. And at the like beginning of the last hour that we were there, it starts getting packed because everybody that was in the stadium was coming over to Old City to party. And Morgan's sitting beside me at this point, and we're just kind of on our phones and chit chatting. Actually, no one was on their phones because we were all had dead phones. So we were, that was another thing. So we're just sitting there kind of chit chatting, and this girl comes up to us. And she goes, "Oh my God, I love Creeps and Crimes."
So she said, "Oh my God, I'm Team Cream, Team Crime."
Yes,
something like that.
Something like that. And we were like, first up, we were like not alive at this point. We turned and looked at her like, there's no way this is real. We've never been noticed together. And so I literally was like, I couldn't speak at first. I was literally like, is this happening or am I hallucinating?
Yeah.
And then Morgan's like, oh my God, and jumps up. And so we go over there and we're like hugging her and we're like, can we get a picture with you? Like,
she's probably like, yeah, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Sure.
She didn't ask for a picture with us or anything. We were like, can we get a picture with you? So we got a picture with her. And if you know who you are, obviously. Will you DM us? Because we would just like your permission to post it on our social media because we love it and we are dying to post it, but we couldn't find you. So we want to shout you out.
It was, guys.
It made our
most,
whole
like,
light.
Like, baby, you came in there with confidence. You're like,
you did.
Love you guys. I'm like, oh fuck, I love you too.
She
Come
knew
over
exactly
here right now.
It was so crazy. It was like not a question like, hey, are you guys so and so? Like, it wasn't a question like that at all. It was like, hey, I love you, and we were like, oh my God, we love you. What? You want a shot? You want a drink? What is that? Pizza? I mean, literally, it was like that. It was so, it changed my entire night. I've never been so happy in my life. I was throwing up in the toilet later that night just thinking about it. Just being like, wow, what a great night it's been.
Wow, what a great fucking day.
Tennessee beats Alabama, and then we get noticed. That's the best part. Like, I literally don't give a fuck. We could have wiped Alabama out but like that moment topped it for me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We got a great episode for you today. Like, really, it's a good one. And so I'm really excited to give this to you, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween when you do go trick-or-treating. If you got kiddos or you're going with siblings or you're handing out candy, just make sure you're always keeping an eye out for.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Just
people
weirdos.
around you, and
you know, it's hard to tell.
Y'all know what to do.
Yeah.
We don't need to tell you.
Just trust your intuition around people because, yes, people wear costumes. So we lose that ability to read a lot of body language and facial language. But in the moment, like, just really trust your intuition to guide you on what's a safe area and what's not.
And if you're one of our listeners, we expect you to have good candy.
Yeah.
And we expect you to have candy for the kids.
I expect the
and you better be repping the merch.
You better. If I don't get 19 million tags on Halloween of you guys walking your kids around in Creeps and Crimes merch, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, on all of you.
I'm literally doing a bolo on everybody.
Alrighty, guys. If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy. So before we jump in, we just want to give our sources a big old shout out. So our sources are various articles by History.com, The Irish Times, Halloween by Tricking Roger, The Washington Post, and a few other smaller articles and books by various institutions, but mainly History.com.
Love.
And we had to mention an article written by Jack Santino for the University of Tennessee Press titled Halloween and Other Festivals of Death and
We just
Life.
had to give that love to
Little UT,
you know what I mean? Like,
especially on this week.
Yeah, you know, we just had to. So with all of that being said, this is The History of Halloween, The Man Who Killed Halloween, and, quote, always check the candy.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun. All right. First off, with History of Halloween, the ancient origins. Halloween can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which is a Gaelic festival celebrating the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the, quote, darker half of the year, aka winter, aka seasonal depression,
aka not okay.
Taking place halfway between the autumn equinox and winter solstice. Samhain is held on November 1st, but all of the celebrations began on the evening of October 31st because the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. Samhain is one of the 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals. Others include Lunasa. The Lunasa festival is it marks the beginning of the harvest season halfway between the summer solstice and autumn equinox, which is traditionally held on August 1st or the closest Sunday to this date. Another festival is called the Imbolc,
I think.
Imbolc.
I tried to write out the pronunciations for us because I was sitting with Google Translate, but it's like Imbolc. Or also called St. Bridget's Day, and it's a festival marking the beginning of spring.
And for Christians, it is the feast day of St. Brigid, Ireland's patroness saint. The celebrations are held on February 1st, halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. Another festival is Beltane. It is the Gaelic May Day festival. This celebration is held on May 1st between the spring equinox and the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, making the start of summer in Ireland as they have a solar-based season system. I love that.
I do too. I really love it.
Why can't we have that?
I love that they're like, this is
we
between
want it.
The equinox and the solstice. I'm like, hell yeah, it is, bitch.
Spiritual ass
fucking
bitches.
love this shit.
I love this shit.
I love Ireland.
But for this Halloween special, we are going to focus on Samhain. As I stated earlier, Samhain marks the end of the harvest and the beginning of the dark half of the year, winter, which, according to History.com, was a time that was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead became blurred, meaning this was the night that ghosts of the dead could return to the earth. But when they returned, they would cause severe damage to crops and trouble. During this time, it was also believed that the Celtic priests would be able to make better predictions of the future. These predictions were literally the Celts' lifeline during this time, as they had a long, dark, and intense winter. Winters, plural, which is hard for anyone, but specifically for the Celts, as they solely relied on nature for food, resources, and money for trade. To commemorate the festival of Samhain, Celtic priests would build huge bonfires that were considered sacred, and people would gather to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. They would wear costumes, mostly made of animal heads and skins, to celebrate. And together, they would read each other's fortunes.
I love it.
Me too.
I love it.
At the end of the celebration, people would light their hearth fires with flames from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. According to History.com, by 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory, and they ruled this land for 400 years. During this time, two Roman origin festivals merged with the traditional celebration of Celtic Samhain. The first of the two Roman festivals was Feralia,
Yes.
which celebrates the manes, or the Roman spirits of the dead, or souls of the deceased. Originally, this was celebrated on February 21st, marking the end of a 9-day festival honoring their dead ancestors, which was called Parentalia.
Yeah.
The second Roman festival was Pomona, which celebrated the Roman goddess of fruits in abundance. Pomona, during which they would feast to honor the goddess, and the symbol of Pomona is the apple, which is why we now bob for apples.
I fucking love it.
I love it. In 1609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome on May 13th. He did this in honor of all Christian martyrs. Therefore, they established a Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include All Saints, moving its observance to begin on May 13th and end on November 1st. So it started on May 13th with All Martyrs' Day and ended on November with All Saints' Day. But during the 9th century, Christianity had spread over all Celtic territories, and this led to Celtic rites and new practices blending together. Therefore, in the year 1000 AD, the church implemented All Souls' Day on November 2nd, which was an ode to Samhain. Just as Samhain had traditionally been celebrated, All Souls' Day used large bonfires, costumes, and parades. But the costumes were of saints, aka angels and devils. There is a bit of controversy around this, as some historians believe it was actually them trying to replace the Celtic celebration with a church-focused holiday. The celebration of all... Fuck that.
I knew it.
The celebration of All Saints' Day was referred to as All Hallows' Day. Therefore, the evening before the Christian holy days of All Hallows' Day and All Souls' Day, vigils and major feasts were held, therefore giving October 31st the name All Hallows' Eve. And all three dates, October 31st to November 2nd, were collectively referred to as All Hallow Tide. October 31st, aka All Hallows' Eve, eventually turned into Halloween, which of course is what we refer to it as today. By the end of the 12th century, these celebrations became holy days of obligation in Western Christianity. thus the birth of traditions such as ringing church bells to free the souls in purgatory, town criers or bell ringers who walk the streets of towns, who would wear black, ringing mournful bells and calling on all good Christians to remember the poor souls. During All Hallowtide, it became custom to bake and share soul cakes for all Christian souls. Soul cakes were usually made with allspice, nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon, and other sweet spices with raisins, and topped with the mark of a cross to sign that they were for a donation. People would sit baskets full of these soul cakes outside of their homes with glasses of wine. The wine was an offering for the dead. Fuck yes. If I die, let me go there.
Yeah. Send me straight there.
19 crimes, please, preferably, on your doorstep.
And a soul cake. No nuts, though. Hold the nuts for her, please.
Hold the nuts and maybe the nutmeg. I don't think I'm allergic, but I might be. Thus, the early birth of trick-or-treating as children would go, quote, souling during All Hallows Tide, meaning they would go door to door and beg for cakes. But Taylar will tell us about trick-or-treating in just a minute.
Okay. I'm so excited. I love this so much. It's giving Agent 355 off of
it is
Patreon.
It is.
We've
been
that. History teachers.
Yeah.
History professors, if you will.
This is now a history podcast. If you don't like it, please exit the room.
I deadass want to start a side podcast where we cover like all history things, like creepy and crimey still.
We're not historians.
We're not historians, but that's like the best part about it.
I love.
It's like that guy on TikTok that tells the biblical stories in the way of like not a biblical way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is it my turn yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, before we hop into that, let's talk about how Halloween got to America, because America has a lot to do with the term trick-or-treating, but we're going to get to there. It'll lead us there. When America was being colonized, there were very little to no celebrations of Halloween, as they were strictly based on Protestant belief systems. But as time went on and they expanded south of the New England colonies, and I'm referring to like the southern colonies, which at the time were like Maryland and all of those, like below the Hudson. Yeah, the Hudson, right? Below West Point, if you listen to Patreon. This is where like Halloween began being embraced again, and we start seeing more celebrations. With the influence from different European practices and Native American culture merged together, it formed an early version of the American Halloween celebrations that we use today. These early celebrations were public events that were held to celebrate the harvest, which they called play parties, during which people would gather to share stories of the dead, sing, dance, and tell each other's fortunes. So we still have the stories of the dead and the fortunes from the Celtic practices of Samhain, but then we have the singing and the dance added from Native American culture, which I find really beautiful.
Worlds coming together.
Right. And little by little, these stories of the dead turned into ghostly and scary and mischievous stories. But, and also we saw a lot of that within like Celtic culture, because literally the Irish love talking about like fairies and gnomes and, you know, little things that were like mischievous. But this is where they became like gory and dark, because we're like, we're Americans, scare us, you know, like literally.
Scare the shit out of me.
But these celebrations were referred to as autumn festivals and not Halloween until the second half of the 19th century, which was a time where America had experienced an influx of immigration, specifically Irish immigrants escaping the Irish potato famine. The integration of Irish traditions in America is what led to the national celebrations of Halloween. But in the late 1800s, there was this movement in America to take all of the ghosts, pranks, darkness, and witchcraft out of Halloween celebrations, at which point Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones in an effort to take out all these darker connections, which I'm like, no, it had nothing to do with witchcraft. It was literally like a Celtic, it was early Catholic and Celtic religious practices, but it just wasn't their version of it.
Right. It wasn't fucking witchcraft by any means.
It wasn't. It was literally, I'm going to tell you a scary story and act like I can, you know, like I'm going to try to predict your future. Two of the European practices kept with America's version of Halloween were the dressing up in the costumes and going door to door and asking for food or money.
Imagine trick-or-treating was money.
Oh, bitch, I would act like I was a child. I would literally be walking around, trick or treat,
Tip or treat.
This is what we know today as trick-or-treating. And this became a part of the American traditions for Halloween in the 1920s. So the getting food and the money was the treating part. But where did the tricks come from? It is said that young girls believed if they could tell each other's fortunes at Halloween because of Samhain practices, they would be able to figure out the names or appearances of their future husbands by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors.
I love.
AKA literally witchcraft, but okay. Like,
That's fine.
Like,
I'll let it
they're
slide.
like, we're taking all the witchcraft out of it. But if you want to know your husband's name, you need to get this yarn and do this. Like,
Come right over here, babe.
Okay.
I'll let it slide.
Like, literally, you guys basically led to the Salem witch trials because you were like, I need to know my husband's name. Like,
they're like, witch, burn her.
yeah, like,
So fucked
you
up.
guys taught us that. What are you talking about? But others debate this, claiming that the tricks actually referred to if a homeowner did not have candy, the trick-or-treater would fuck shit up.
Oh.
So it's a threat. So basically, if you were going up to when you were going up to the door when you were little and like knocking and you're like your 79-year-old neighbor just knock, and you're saying trick or treat, you're actually saying give me a treat or I'll burn this motherfucker down.
Get fucked or treat right now. Your choice, bitch. And your neighbor's like,
You fuck around.
your neighbor has
and you find
literal
out.
trauma. The 80-year-old neighbor's
Yeah.
got literal trauma from trick or treat, and you're just like trick or treat. And they're like, you evil little shit.
Like, you little bitch.
Little
Are you
fucker.
kidding? So yeah, you're literally threatening them. Prior to this, children in Scotland and Ireland would say, help the Halloween party, because they would be like collecting stuff for the community, like festivals. And in northwestern and central Mexico, this is actually called calaverita, which means sugar skull. So instead of saying like trick or treat, the children would say, Mada mi calaverita.
Very good.
Thank you, which translates to, can you give me my little skull? Referring to a small sugar or chocolate shaped candy skull. Now, as for wearing costumes, this was an attempt to keep the ghosts that were returning to Earth from recognizing you and knowing your identity.
Oh.
Basically, this would confuse them into thinking that they were still in the afterlife, which is why we decorate a certain way and put certain things out, because like the treats were to distract them with obviously the wine. And then the costumes were so they were like, oh, I'm still in the afterlife. I'm not on Earth. Duh.
Imagine now they're like, oh my God, Iron Man's here?
What the fuck? They're like,
Shut up.
oh my God, this is crazy. So many
Is that
celebrities.
Scooby and Shaggy and Velma?
Wow. They're so confused. They're like, where the
They're
fuck
like, why
am
is
I?
Kylie Jenner here? Stormy,
Literally.
baby?
Stormy, baby? Don't you dare look at that skip button.
Turn away.
Turn away from it. What are you doing?
Don't even think
Listen
about
to
it.
us. What are you doing?
This will be the best decision
Of your life. Okay, so if you listen to us go on and on and on in episode 108, then you guys already know how obsessed we are with our new sheets. Literally the best sleep of my entire life, and even Logan said that he could tell a difference. Thanks to 2 words: Miracle Brand.
Period. Not only has my comfort improved, but so has my literal health. Did you know that Miracle Brand sheets are self-cleaning,
Boom.
eco-friendly,
100.
and prevent 99% of bacteria, aka saving you so much time on those Sundays that you spend stripping your bed and cleaning all of your bedding with regular sheets, which is necessary because traditional bedding can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat. Gross.
Oh my God. AKA that leads to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses when you wake up. And that is the worst. Guys, I am so serious. Don't ignore or skip over this, because the topic of sleep and cooling sheets are the 2 topics that I take probably the most serious. So when I tell you that these are the most amazing sheets that I have ever owned in my entire life, rest assured that I am not just saying that lightly.
Miracle Brand offers self-cooling, self-cleaning, luxurious comfort and quality sheets that are not only better for your sleep, but they're better for your skin too. Using silver-infused fabrics originally developed by NASA,
Ooh.
Miracle Brand sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long.
And because they are infused with natural silver, they also prevent 99.9% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Like Morgan was saying, clean, meaning less bacteria to clog your pores, aka fewer breakouts and irritated skin.
We love that. Not to mention, they are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tags of other luxury brands. Their sheets use a premium 500 thread count satin weave that is made with USA grown Supima cotton, aka one of the highest quality cottons in the world.
Oh yeah. To try Miracle Sheets today, go to trymiracle.com/creepsandcrimes and use our exclusive code creepsandcrimes at checkout to save 40% and get 3 free towels. Miracle and me and Morgan are so confident that you will absolutely be obsessed and love their product that it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So if you're not 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep today with Miracle Brand. Go to trymiracle.com/creepsandcrimes and use our code creepsandcrimes to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/creepsandcrimes. Thank you, Miracle Brand, for sponsoring this episode.
So I don't know where I am. Okay, it confused them to thinking that they were still in the afterlife and not on Earth in our plane. Well, like I said before, once America stripped Halloween of its darker spiritual roots because we literally suck, this is when it became a lot more about community in America. So this is block parties, festivals, townwide holiday parties and events, and parades. But by the 50s, with the amount of young children as a result of the baby boom, they really pushed for neighborhood trick-or-treating or like trunk-or-treats at churches and shit like we say now.
Yeah.
Because basically they used to have these in like community schools and they're like, we cannot legally fit everybody into this building. Although they were probably not really fucking worried about legal issues at this point.
Not at all.
They were just like, there's not enough space. This was more cost effective for the communities to celebrate together, and shops, candy makers, and stores really jumped on this shit and never looked back, which is what made trick-or-treating a national, nationwide tradition because it was marketing.
Yeah.
It was all about marketing. Today, according to history.com and a few other places that I read, you can literally just Google it. It comes up at the top. Americans spend an estimated $6 billion on Halloween decorations and candy.
That's insane.
That's not even including the costumes.
And then you buy it the week later and it's half off.
Right. And this actually makes Halloween our second largest commercial holiday after Christmas.
I believe it.
That is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, it's the only other one that we like really decorate for. You know what I mean?
Like house-wise.
Yeah, and we give gifts.
House-wise.
House-wise. Like that we give
What do you think the next one is?
Thanksgiving? Maybe?
I would say Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, because we
not
do get
decoration-wise, but we spend expensive gifts.
Expensive gifts. We do
decorate.
decorate.
We spend a lot of money in restaurants. But
and it's like celebrated in schools, you know, like we bring the boxes and the Valentine's
and the candy.
Tons of candy. I bet it would be Valentine's Day. I wonder what's next. We'll have to Google it.
Thanksgiving, probably.
Easter, yeah, because again, the candy. We buy tons of candy at Easter. Best candy, Halloween, Easter, and what's the other one? Valentine's Day. Best
Hands
candy.
down.
God, it's
my
so
stocking
good.
always slacks on Christmas. Mom, Santa.
Mom, what's up?
Santa, come on, babe.
Santa doesn't fill my stocking at my house. My mom doesn't let him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
That's only for...
Blocks the chimney?
No, that's where we get...
The chimney.
Good Lord. Witch's brew. That is where we get all of our new underwear for the year. Yeah, so mom's like, Santa, not for you.
Yeah, say it up.
Can't have it. Sorry, I hate that for you.
Sorry, unless you want to go to Victoria's Secret, it's just really not.
Yeah,
not
like,
up your alley.
I mean, it's going to be really awkward for you, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, Americans did try to take all the darkness out of Halloween, but Hollywood brought it right on back. Specifically in the 70s with box office hits that we still watch today, all of which seem to continue growing darker and darker each year. So a couple of the notorious Halloween movies to watch around Halloween time. Not so much spookiest, but we'll still give you some spooky here. Number one, 1978's Halloween.
They just released a new one this year with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I heard it wasn't good.
No. Are you kidding?
I did hear that. Second one, 1975, the second most popular is the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which are actually coming to Knoxville in a couple weeks at the Tennessee Theater.
Love.
The third is The Exorcist, 1973. People love that shit. Fourth most watched Halloween movie, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Well, that has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how does that even count? You know, like.
Right. Number 5 is The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also nuts.
Yeah.
7, Coraline. I think this is including, you have to think though, like, yes,
I'm going to blow this fucking list out the window. Where's Practical Magic?
Where's Halloween Town?
Where is Hocus Pocus?
Number 8 is Scream, or 7 is Scream.
Okay.
Number 8 is The Witches, 1990. I've never seen it. Number 9 is Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah.
1968. And number 10 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Which,
fair.
11, Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yep. That's what I was expecting.
I don't know why this
Have you heard mixed reviews about the new Hocus Pocus?
I would like to see it, but I have heard mixed reviews.
I haven't seen it, but I listened to Em and Christine for their most recent episode. So the one that came out the same week as 108, I was listening to them not cover it. They were just talking about Hocus Pocus, and Christine watched Hocus Pocus for the first time like 5 years ago, and so she wasn't like into it, you know, to watch it again. She hadn't seen it again, the new one. But Em was like, the only thing they didn't love was that apparently they didn't bring back all of the children that were in it, like the main characters, but like not the people that were kids in it.
Right.
And so that makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, why wouldn't they do that? You had one chance.
But Em was literally sobbing, saying that the best acting they had ever seen was of the eye of the book.
Shut up.
And I'm like, okay, fine, now I have to go fucking watch it.
Yeah, no, I have to watch it.
Yeah, now I have to watch it.
Is it just theaters or is it out? Like,
no, we can watch it on Disney Plus.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight I'll be watching that. But no, you have to think though, like all of these like Coraline and all this, like those. This is a huge demographic, and Halloween is more so suited for kids.
Right.
So your most popular Halloween movies for kids are definitely going to be stuff like that. The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and all of the other things.
Family movies.
Yeah. What is your favorite?
Like family movie or just
family movie and horror?
Okay, I'm gonna do 3. Just like overall Halloween, family Halloween, and then horror. My favorite overall Halloween, Practical Magic. Don't even fucking question me about that. Like, my favorite of all time. Nicole Kidman. Are you kidding me? Sandra Bullock. Are you fucking kidding me? And Rizzo. Are you kidding me? I don't know what her real name is. I know I'm going to hell for that. Anyways, my favorite family one. Okay, so I don't know. I go back and forth on this because I loved Halloween Town. I was fucking in it, all right? But there was this one original Disney Channel movie, okay? And I truly don't really know what the name of it is.
Twitches.
I love Twitches, but no, this is not the one I'm talking about. This one would always be on at like 3 o'clock in the morning at any given time during the year. And it was of a mummy. I think it was literally called The Mummy. But it was like of this mummy that these 2 kids found, and they're trying to like help this mummy get back, or like they think the mummy's chasing them, and then the like mummy's like its friend. And it was such a good movie. I would literally stay up if I saw it on the guide that it was coming up later that night, because this was before you could record it.
Yeah.
So I would literally stay up and watch it because I loved it. It was so fucking good. I would set an alarm on my iHome.
Yeah.
Or no, not even my fucking iHome, my CD player that had oh my god, what was the song? Summertime Girls are the one type of like.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, there was this song I used to love when I had the CD. I would play it over and over and over again when I was around this age.
Not on the CD player.
Yeah, and I was so fucking excited about getting this alarm clock. You could put a CD in it and it would wake you up, and you could pick which song.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I was like, it was a white one with a clear thing and you could see it spinning. Yeah. And I would, in the blue light, I would literally like, it's the best day ever. I would wake up so excited. I would love to have that right now. I would wake the fuck up.
Me too.
I would wake the fuck up.
I'd be like, oh.
You don't wake up? Why don't you wake up to music anymore?
Right.
Well, God, I woke up to music because you could still do that on your phone. I used to, in high school, wake up to Ray LaMontage, you are the best damn thing. And now every time I hear it, because it starts off like, dun, 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 like it literally scars me when I wake up in the morning. So now I know.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it ruins songs. So that one is my favorite, like, kid-friendly movie. But in terms of horror movies, I love the fucking Conjurings, but they just haunt me every time.
I know.
Every time. What's yours?
I love the Conjurings too, but I will say in high school, which is, I feel like I haven't really gotten to celebrate Halloween right since I've left home.
I know.
Like, it's just not the same since I'm not with, like, my whole family. I don't know, in my neighborhood that I grew up in. But
it's not even that.
My
I just
favorite
need a kid.
horrors to watch during spooky time is Probably Paranormal Activities.
You love those. Oh my God. And Insidious and all of those. Those are so good.
But my favorite, like, family movie, I mean, I've seen Halloween Town 1, 2, 3 and Twitches 1 and 2 like a million times.
Good. Yeah.
A million times. I couldn't pick between them.
I just feel like
but
those are
also
just iconic.
like we also watched a lot of Harry Potter, but Harry Potter's like an every holiday thing. Yeah. You know?
I mean, I literally watched that Thanksgiving, Christmas.
It's a huge Christmas movie.
Oh my God, it's so good. Especially the one where they're celebrating Christmas and Halloween.
They're being so cute, little Harry and Hermione.
I fucking love it.
But yeah, I would actually probably pick Halloween Town over Twitches for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Marnie. Is that her name?
Marnie.
She kept swapping up on my
Agatha.
TikTok.
And you know who Agatha is in real life?
Who?
You know? Okay, Agatha, Grandma Aggie.
Yeah.
You know? Do you know whose mom she is in real life?
No.
Fucking Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher.
Shut up.
That's Carrie Fisher's mom. Logan told me that the other day. I was like, bitch, what the fuck?
I had no idea.
Aggie?
That's
My bitch
nuts.
Aggie? I love her.
She was dope.
Yeah, I love it. Damn, I love Halloween. It's literally the best of all time.
Yeah.
And I think actually what's missing, I really don't feel like it's like home that's missing because, well, okay.
It's childhood.
It's home that's missing because I just know those streets and I trick-or-treated on them. So like they mean a lot more to me. But
it's also the neighborhood because even if you were an adult there, like, you know, you'd have kids to come trick or treat.
Right. And I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like Disney World, you know? Disney World's fun to still go to when you're an adult. Halloween is still fun to celebrate when you're an adult. It's just not the same because you're not seeing it through the eyes of a child who gets to I'm gonna sob. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I just miss my little sisters being like that. Like, I got to experience that for so long because they were still, I mean, guys, they're literally just in high school now.
Yeah.
And I'm graduated college. I've gone through 2 careers. I'm married and they're in high school.
Yeah.
So they were so much younger than me that I got to, for years, still experience a younger version of Halloween and trick-or-treating with them. And that was just so fun to see and like be a part of and getting them ready and then picking their costumes. Like it's such a great experience. And I need someone to have a fucking kid around me. Does anybody live in Knoxville that's got a few kids that we can come watch? Oh, it's definitely not going to be me or you because we got too much to do, bitch.
Nose goes right there.
No.
See, we had just two totally different experiences. Like you like enjoyed like getting to get them get ready. No, but it was me and my siblings fighting over my mom to do her hair, makeup, and then fist fighting each other and then still having a good time. You know what I mean? Like it was
I was just
totally
like an only
things.
child for the majority of my childhood. And then by the time they were born, like I was old enough to be able to help and do one person's, either Phoebe or Lola's hair and makeup and get them ready. And so I got to experience it like that. Same with like Christmas and stuff. Like I just so got to experience it in
all
the
mine
magic.
was a fucking brawl out, full out brawl out
and
fight.
so I didn't
we're all
have
so
siblings.
close in age. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't have any siblings close to my age. So I just got to watch them experience it and just get to like fucking be magical. I mean, the first time they went to Disney World, like even when they were little, when we take them back, like it was just so
We all know
fun.
Marshall's first time at Disney World.
Oh my God, that motherfucker. Shithead. I love it. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is like some Halloween lore a little bit, and we're going to start off with black cats. And I'm literally going to be referring to this history.com article called Why Black Cats Are Associated with Halloween and Bad Luck, which was written by Elizabeth Yuko on October 13th, 2021, because this article is so good. If I were to try and pull notes off of it plus like another thing, I would literally just be copy and pasting, and that's not fair to this author. So I'm going to give her or them credit, and we're going to read about it. So black cats, the origins of the superstitions surrounding them are actually traced back to some of the world's earliest civilizations, specifically ancient Egypt, where they were considered divine symbols. Cats were so prevalent in Greek mythology that the goddess of magic, sorcery, the moon, and witchcraft, Hecate, I think is how you say it, was described as having a cat as both a pet and a familiar, which is a supernatural creature that assists a witch. And I love having a familiar. Like, I think that's so cool. So these written records link black cats to the occult as far back as the 13th century, when official church documents called the Vox in Roma was issued by Pope Gregory. Oh, we've already talked about him, right? Or no, that was the third. This is the
Pope Gregory III.
Yeah.
That's who we talked about.
Who's IX? What number is that? What is an
9.
X? 9? Okay.
Well, X is 10.
Okay.
So
Lord.
yeah, 9.
This article was written on June 13th, 1233.
1233.
There were people there?
There was paper.
How did you write? Literally.
Engrave it in the stone.
And it says, quote, in it, black cats were declared an incarnation of Satan. And did you know Satan is actually pronounced Satan?
I actually do know that.
I didn't know that. I was listening to I was watching the history
I
channel.
only see the name every time I research something.
Yeah, literally. Satan?
Satan.
Satan.
Okay,
And that
saged
quote
me.
was said by Layla Morgan Wild, who is the author of Black Cats, True Tales, and Inspiring Images. So black cats and witches were seen as threats to the early Christian church. Though these early Christian churches in Europe coexisted with witches, as the church was gaining power and influence, it is said that witches became a direct competition in gaining the hearts and minds of the people that they were trying to influence to come to the church. And that's when the church began hunting, persecuting, torturing, and murdering witches in vast numbers. So basically witch trials. But this was not the only connection that they had fabricated, because obviously it was fabricated by the church, between witches and cats and the devil. Early Christians said that they feared that not only were witches a threat, but they became more powerful when they had a black cat. And Christians saw this as disrespectful to them. Like, it was a disrespect of authority towards them if a witch had a black cat, which I'm like, not everything's about you.
Yeah.
Calm down. At some point in all of this,
And because of this, all the stray black cats are just congregating towards the people that don't want them.
they're literally like,
To the church. It's like they're marching.
Yeah.
They're marching down to the church.
just a bunch of Milas and Salems walking around. Like, are you kidding? I would literally be like, this is my dream.
Yeah.
This is my dream. But eventually the fear surrounding black cats and their association with witchcraft made its way over to different countries, like spread like wildfire, which of course it is, because as Christianity is spreading, these lures and fear-mongering tactics are going to have a role in this.
Right.
But cats are actually blamed for spreading the plague. During the Middle Ages, it wasn't common for cats to be killed, given their association with evil. But some people went as far as blaming cats for being the spreading agent of the bubonic plague. And it was used as another reason to get rid of cats. However, this plan that they had completely fucking backfired, because we all know that it was rats. And who fucking kills rats? Cats.
Yeah.
You dumb bitches.
Fuck off.
Literally fuck off.
Hate bitches.
So where did the tale of if a black cat crosses your path, you're going to die, or whatever
under a
it is,
ladder.
bad luck, you
Yeah.
know? So given all of this medieval beliefs about the devil and witches and the cats being all linked together, specifically black cats, it made sense that the superstition around black cats walking anywhere near anybody would be, made a scare tactic and turned into folklore.
Frankfurt.
Therefore, they basically said that a black cat crossing your path was very well on its way to go see a witch. Like, it was on a mission to meet with a witch. So basically you were going to be looped into this hex or the curse that whatever witch was doing. And it's like, the witch doesn't give a fuck about you.
Right.
Like, leave her alone.
Yeah.
She's busy.
If she was worried about you, you'd be that.
You would know, okay? You would know. But that's really it on this article. But I
love that.
I loved being able to learn about black cats as a black cat owner, as a black cat mama.
As a black cat mama.
Oh my God. I love black cats are the sweetest, and you can't tell me any differently.
Yeah.
It's because
agree.
they've been hated on for so long. They're like,
Please love me.
Yes,
We're going to the church.
And they're like, by the way, take me to the church on the way home.
They're like, oh, please take me to the church.
If you want to scare somebody, let's go, bitch. Like, me and black cats are just one and the same.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm going to be talking a little bit about Halloween matchmaking and lesser known rituals. So I'm actually going to be reading this verbatim off of history.com article on matchmaking and rituals for Halloween, because
Again, it was just too good.
it's too good.
Yeah.
Okay. But what about the Halloween traditions and beliefs that today's trick-or-treaters have forgotten all about? Many of these obsolete rituals focused on the future instead of the past and the living instead of the dead. In particular, many had to do with helping young women identify their future husbands and measuring them that they would someday, like we already said, with luck by next Halloween be married. In 18th century Ireland, a matchmaking cook might bury a ring in her mashed potatoes on Halloween night, hoping to bring true love to the diner who found it.
Oh.
In Scotland, fortune tellers recommended that an eligible young woman name a hazelnut for each of her suitors and then toss the nuts into the fireplace. The nut that burned to ashes rather than popping or exploding, the story went, represented the girl's future husband. In some versions of this legend, the opposite was true. The nut that burned away symbolized a love that would not last. Another tale had it that if a young woman ate a surgery concoction made out of walnuts, sugary concoction made out of walnuts, hazelnuts, and nutmeg before bed on Halloween night, she would dream about her future husband.
Thank God you didn't live
it turns out to me that I would never find my husband back in the day. People love their nuts.
They love their fucking nuts.
Young women tossed apple peels over their shoulders, hoping that the peels would fall on the floor in the shape of their future husband's initials. Tried to learn about their futures by peering at egg yolks floating in a bowl of water and stood in front of a mirror. Say that again.
I've done that.
You wanted to know your husband's name?
Yeah, I would
like show me Logan.
No, show me an L. I never saw any letters.
You didn't see anything?
No, but I did do that one time.
They also stood in front of mirrors in darkened rooms, holding candles and looking over their shoulders for their husbands' faces. Other rituals were a bit more competitive. At some Halloween parties, the first guest to find a burr on a chestnut hunt would be the first to marry. I'm dead.
Yeah, you're dead. You're not allowed to search for your husband.
They would be like, you have to play the game. And I'd be like,
I would literally go into anaphylactic shock.
They'd be like, what's that? Play the game.
Play the game.
You need a husband.
You don't need an EpiPen.
Get your
you
dowry.
Need a husband. What are you talking about? Get your dowry.
At others, the first successful apple bobber would be the first down the aisle. Of course, whether we're asking for romantic advice or trying to avoid 7 years of bad luck, each one of these Halloween superstitions relies on the goodwill of the very same spirits who presents the early Celts felt so keenly.
I love lore. I love lore like so much.
I wish the world, like, what's our lore gonna? What are we offering?
We took it. We stripped it all. What are you talking about?
I know, but can we create any right now? Could we start one?
Oh my God, we start Crepes and Crimes lore. You guys pass it on to your kids. We, for the rest of the time, are a part of lore. People that have podcasts that are actually not podcasts anymore. It's just like dolphin signals that we send to each other that people listen to radio. When people have podcasts
echolocation,
like echolocation for podcasts to replace podcasts in like 25 years or whatever it is.
Hell yeah.
When we're like not going to be dead and gone, but retired, hopefully.
We're tired.
We're tired and retired. Hopefully by that point, they're going to be like, and then on this one day in 2022, two idiot bitches
with a mic
gave us this story and no nuts were included.
No nuts were included because turns out humans can't have nuts. That's what they would get from it.
Literally, they would.
That's what it would pass down to. I love that. You know what I am not looking forward to tonight?
What?
Grocery shopping.
Oh, God.
It is so time consuming. I feel like I always forget crucial ingredients and I'm just so exhausted by the time I get home. I don't even feel like putting the groceries away. So then they just sit there.
Yeah. And that is why I am so freaking thankful that we have HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, as a sponsor of today's episode. If you enjoyed Green Chef as much as we did, you will be obsessed because they are now owned by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your front doorstep. AKA, Morgan, you get to skip the grocery store this week.
Hallelujah. HelloFresh makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. When you subscribe to HelloFresh, you can check Save Money off of your fall to-do list. HelloFresh is 25% cheaper than takeout and less expensive than grocery shopping too. I'm not even kidding that when Aaron and I budgeted for this month, HelloFresh saved us so much time and money versus going to the grocery store that we're probably going to be doing it for the rest of our lives.
Me too. Logan's already like, so when's our HelloFresh box coming up?
Right.
Like, okay, sir, calm down.
It's every Monday.
It's okay. Calm down.
Get it
okay?
right.
And not to mention, it is absolutely freaking delicious with an ever-changing menu and options for each season, because when the seasons change, so does your taste buds. Yeah, you know how it goes. You can easily customize your meals to fit your diet, lifestyle, and cravings by swapping out protein, sides, or upgrading to choice proteins. And they offer vegan options too. I'm not joking when I say Logan and I devoured our very first HelloFresh box.
Guilty.
In just literally 3 days because we were so obsessed. It just made it so easy and it was fun to do, and they were absolutely amazing to consume. My favorite meal that we had thus far is the bulgogi pork tenderloin with the roasted carrots and the lemony rice. Oh my God.
Chef's
phenomenal.
Kiss. But the way their spicy Peruvian chicken that had the loaded rice and the pickled jalapenos and the creamy salsa verde rocked my world.
too.
Even my picky eating fiance, Aaron, loved it.
And that is a glowing review.
Yeah.
That is a glowing review.
That's it right there. To try HelloFresh and get your first box, go to HelloFresh.com/creepsandcrime65 and use our code creepsandcrime65 for 65% off plus free shipping.
That's HelloFresh.com/creepsandcrimes65 and use our code creepsandcrimes65 for 65% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our actual cases.
Yay.
Yay. So I'm going to start us off with a true crime case, and this is about the man who killed Halloween. This takes place in Deer Park, Texas. There, Ronald Clark O'Brien lived with his wife, Diane, and their 2 children, Timothy and Elizabeth. Ronald was a pretty well-liked guy. He was a deacon for Second Baptist Church, which I never heard of Second Baptist Church before.
I have.
I've heard of First Baptist Church, but I didn't know there was a Second Baptist Church.
Yeah, I have heard.
I've never seen one before or heard of one.
Second Baptist.
I've never, ever
First
heard of
Baptist,
that.
It just sounds right. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look up one, see if there's
But
one
what's the
else.
difference of like between first and second? Like just who got there?
Yeah.
I guess. You're not first or
and
second, I
You're
guess.
not first. Look, there's a second. Oh, Presbyterian, second
Presbyterian?
Oh, Second Baptist Church, 14 miles away
Wow.
in Clinton.
In Clinton,
That
Tennessee.
makes a little sense.
So he was a deacon for Second Baptist Church. And there he actually sang in the choir and he ran a local bus program. But those were literally just his hobbies. For work, he was an, oh my God, how do I say this again? We literally stopped the recording so you could pronounce this for me. Optician. Okay. At Texas State Optical in Sharpstown, Houston. On October 31st, 1974, Ronald took his 8-year-old son, Timothy, and his daughter, Elizabeth, trick-or-treating. But not in their own neighborhood. Instead, they went to Pasadena to find a full-size candy bar type of fucking neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Right.
That's where we trick-or-treated.
And tagging along with them was their neighbor and his 2 children, who Elizabeth and Timothy often played with. So they began making their rounds, but one of these houses was taking way too long to answer the door. So the kids, along with the neighbor, just ran to the next house. And Ronald was like, "Oh, go ahead." He was like falling behind.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I'm going to catch up with you and guys in a second." By the time the kids had collected their candy from the next house over, Ronald had caught up. And in his hands were 5 extra large, like the extended pixie sticks. The kids were fucking stoked. They're like, "Oh my God, where did you get this? Hell yeah." Ronald explains that patience is key because as he was walking away from the door, the homeowners came to the door since he was trailing behind. They're like, "Oh, sorry," and handed him these 5 pixie sticks. So Ronald was like, "Here, I'll hold on to these pixie sticks until you're done trick-or-treating because they're not going to fit in your bags, and I'll give them to you on our way home." So the kids went on their way, finished their trick-or-treating. It started to rain, so they had to leave a little early. And when they were on their way home, Ronald gave a pixie stick to each of the children. So one to each of the 2 neighborhood kids, and one to Timothy, and one to his daughter, Elizabeth. And Timothy's his son. I don't know if yeah, I've said that. Okay. So once they returned home, they still had the 5th pixie stick. And Ronald recognized some of the kids that were trick-or-treating in his neighborhood. And one of these kids was someone that he knew from church that his kid played with in like Sunday school. So he gives this kid the 5th pixie stick. Well, before bed, Timothy asked if he could eat some of his candy that he had gotten trick-or-treating. And God, that was at the end of the night when you would dump. I don't know if you guys did this. But
We did.
Me and my parents would go home. We would dump out the bags.
Sort it.
We'd sort it. Exactly. And we'd be like, okay. And my parents were never like one piece. They were like, let's fuck this shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents are always cool as fuck like that.
But we would have bags that measured how much candy you got.
Oh,
like when
that's
you were like
sick.
when you got to the top line, it's like jackpot. That's what it read.
Hell
so we would
yeah.
always like race around and be like, I got the jackpot first, whatever. We trick
Oh my God, y'all
come
are
home,
crazy.
We'd fucking dump it, and then we'd split anyone. I had all the Reese's.
Peanuts,
I had
yeah.
everything that had peanut butter, so I'd be switching for sweet tarts and this,
Yeah.
rotting my teeth out, and that's why I have no teeth.
Not the teeth, bitch. Not the teeth. Not bringing up the trauma.
Not really.
with the
That's
teeth.
just genetic.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with her eating candy. Just so you know. So yeah, but I used to love doing that. But me and my kids. Apparently, my parents are my kids. Me and my parents would run home. We would dump everything out. We would sort it, and we would eat it while we watched like a Halloween movie or
Us too.
fucking 48
I'd
hours.
be so sick, bro.
Oh my God. I love candy, but I'm always like, okay, I've had too much sweet. I need a salty. So I'd be like, let me go get a bag of chips.
Popcorn.
The popcorn balls. Oh
My
God. Where are those at? I'm going to go get them right this second.
So good.
I love them. Remember 2 years ago when I got them
Yeah.
for the Halloween party? Love. Okay. So basically, this is what Timothy's doing. He's having to like bargain, like, okay, can I have at least one? Because his parents were the type of parents like
maybe two.
one piece. And they were like, okay, pick one single piece of candy, and that's what you can have before bedtime. So naturally, Timothy's going to pick the largest thing that's in there, and
Period.
it was the pixie stick. So he's like trying to he gets this open. His dad cuts it open for him.
Like one of the big ones, the thick ones.
Yeah, the big ones that are plastic. And like how when you were a kid, you would literally like put the whole thing in your mouth and it would clog it because the sugar just clumps and then you'd have to have your parents cut it down. That's basically what happens with Timothy. So Ronald has to like break it up for him. He's like slamming it on the ground. So Timothy's able to get some sugar out. And he's like, he takes like a big slug of it and he's like, oh my God, this is horrific. It's bitter. And he's like, I need something to wash this down with. So Ronald goes and gets him some Kool-Aid to wash this down with. And then he's like, okay, now go get ready for bed. So that was like the last of his candy. He didn't even get a replacement for the shitty candy that he had, which sad. So Timothy goes into the bathroom to like brush his teeth. Well, moments later, he starts talking about his stomach hurting. And he runs to the toilet and begins vomiting. And as he was vomiting, it was getting worse and worse, and he actually began convulsing. Ronald held his son as he was convulsing and vomiting and really struggling, and they were waiting for the ambulance that had been called by Diane, his wife. And then Timothy went limp. Timothy died on the way to the hospital at 8 years old, less than an hour after eating the pixie stick. They discovered that Timothy had been poisoned, and the only thing that he had consumed was that pixie stick. Investigators discovered that this pixie stick that Timothy had was laced with a fatal dose of potassium cyanide. 4 of the 5 pixie sticks were able to be located, but the only one missing was the one that Ronald had given to the child from church. Police immediately contacted the child's parents in the middle of the night, who were obviously hysterical receiving this phone call. They literally jumped out of the bed and ran to their son's room, ripping the door open where he was asleep, holding the pixie stick in his hands in his bed. They shook him awake to find that he had thankfully fallen asleep before eating the candy. It remained sealed because he could not open the staples that had been sealing that candy. Investigators found that all of the pixie sticks had been opened and resealed. The top 2 inches of each of them were filled with pure cyanide powder before being resealed with with staples.
The fuck is wrong with people?
According to the Victoria Advocate and the pathologist who performed the postmortem on Timothy, they discovered that Timothy had consumed enough cyanide to kill 2 full-grown adults. And the other pixie sticks had a more lethal dose, enough to kill 3 full-grown adults. When the media picked up Timothy's case, fear swept over the community. Parents were throwing their children's candies into bags and rushing them to the police station to have it searched, fearing that their children would be poisoned if they ate it. Ronald told police that he could not remember the exact house where these pixie sticks were given, so police ended up going door to door in that Pasadena neighborhood. Upon which they discovered that not only did no one claim to have given out extra large pixie sticks, but it seemed like Ronald's crew were the only trick-or-treaters to receive this particular candy. Ronald was eventually able to locate this house and recognize it, and he told officers that the homeowner did not initially open the door. But as he was walking off, as I said before, the door cracked open with all of the lights inside and out off. And all that he could see of the homeowner when he opened the door just a crack was the arm of a man. Police went to this particular home and they interviewed the owner, whose name was Courtney Melvin. Courtney Melvin was an air traffic controller at William P. Hobby Airport, and the night of Halloween, he did not return home until 11 p.m. after his shift. 200 of his coworkers and video surveillance confirmed Melvin's story. Therefore, this ruled him out as a suspect. So police were basically at a standstill. They searched his house. There was no sign of like a forced entry or anybody else being in the home. And they just were like, something's off about Ronald's story. So they did some digging, upon which they learned that Ronald O'Brien was over $100,000 in debt, aka $550,000 today. And in the last 10 years, Ronald went through 21 jobs. He could not hold a job. Not to mention, at the time that this was all going down, he was currently suspended from his job at Texas State Optical for theft, and they were preparing to fire him. His car was days away from being repoed. His family's home was foreclosed on, and he had defaulted on several loans. According to the Park City Daily News, in the months before Timothy's death, police discovered that Ronald had taken out hefty life insurance policies on each of his children, Timothy and Elizabeth. And in January of 1974, he took out an additional $10,000 on each, which is equal to $55,000 today. And just 1 month before Timothy's death, Ronald took out an additional $20,000 on each children's policies. These policies equaled out to $60,000 per child. Diane told police that she had no idea that there were even policies like this on her children. But when they asked her if she knew that the morning after Timothy's death, which was November 1st, that Ronald, her husband, had called and inquired about collecting the policies that he had taken out on his son.
The day after?
The day after. She had no idea.
Oh my God.
Obviously, this was fucking disgusting and stunning and just like devastating for her.
I was not expecting
Did my husband literally kill my son? Diane gave police full access to anything that they needed, granting them everything that would take months to get warrants for. At which point, police learned that Ronald had gone to a chemical supply store in Houston to buy cyanide just days before Halloween. They questioned Ronald on this, but he maintained his innocence. Police theorized that he had given all of the laced candies to various children to try and cover his tracks. On November 5th, 1974, Ronald was arrested under suspicion of murdering his son, Timothy.
Good.
He was then indicted on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder, to which he pled not guilty to all. His trial began on May 4th, 1974. Testifying for the prosecution was a chemist who was actually close friends with Ronald. The chemist testified that in the summer of 1973, Ronald called and asked him how much cyanide would be fatal, and asking all of these odd, detailed questions about this particular chemical. Also testifying was the chemical supply store employee and Ronald's sister-in-law and brother-in-law, who claimed that on the day of Timothy's funeral, Ronald spoke at length about the money from Timothy's life insurance policy that he was getting.
Sick, bro.
Telling them that he was going to use it to take his family on a long vacation.
What family? You just killed your son.
Literally.
You broke your family.
Diane, his wife, testified that Timothy had not chosen the pixie stick on his own. In fact, Ronald had opened it and forced Timothy to choose it as his one candy. On June 3rd, 1975, the jury took only 46 minutes to find Ronald O'Brien guilty of 1 count of capital murder for the death of his son Timothy and 4 counts of attempted murder. And they only took 71 minutes to sentence him to death by electrocution.
Wow.
Days later, Diane filed for divorce. Years later, she ended up remarrying, and her new husband adopted her daughter, Elizabeth. Ronald O'Brien was executed on May 31st, 1984, shortly after midnight. His last meal was a T-bone steak, French fries with ketchup, corn, peas, lettuce, and tomato salad with egg and French dressing, iced tea, sweetener, saltines, Boston cream pie, and rolls.
You didn't want a pixie stick?
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No, you didn't want a pixie stick?
That's a full fucking feast.
Let me give you a fucking pixie stick as your last meal.
Literally. I literally, I mean, I wouldn't even lace it. I just would have been like, here's your meal. According to the Beaver County Times, his last words were, and guys, this literally fucking infuriates me. I cannot believe I'm actually about to read it because it's not his last words. It's his last fucking statement to the entire world. But I do want to read it because it's disgusting and I literally want to rip his ass apart with it. So this is what he said, quote, "What is about to transpire in a few moments is wrong." Is it? I mean, do I agree with death by
sometimes?
I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about it. I don't know. We've already had this conversation on here. I have very mixed feelings about it. But for you to be so heartless to literally murder your son, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. However, we as human beings do make mistakes and errors. That's not an error. You purposefully murdered your child.
Cut it for him and everything. This
execution is one of those wrongs, yet doesn't mean our whole system of justice is wrong. Therefore, I would forgive all of those who have taken part in any way in my death.
What?
Well, good for you. I'm glad you forgive them because I'm sure Diane does not forgive you for taking her son away from her. And Elizabeth doesn't forgive you for taking Well, maybe they do. I can't say, obviously I don't want to say that they aren't bigger than me and be able to forgive, but I would never be able to forgive that. That was something I would never be able to let go of. Also, to anyone who I've offended in any way during my 39 years, I pray and ask for your forgiveness, just as I forgive anyone who offended me in any way. And I pray and ask God's forgiveness for all of us, respectively, as human beings. To my loved ones, I extend my underlying love. To those close to me, know in your hearts I love you one and all. Bless you all, and may God's best blessings be always yours. Ronald C. O'Brien. P.S. During my time here, I have been treated well by all TDC personnel. End quote. Okay, so who was holding a gun against his head and was like, say that you love it here? Like, literally. Who
sign it off and say, P.S. P.S. You love it here.
P.S. I really love it here.
Really, really love it. It's your favorite thing ever.
Really?
What a fucking sicko.
No, dude. It's the sickest story ever. I hated it. I didn't want to do it. But how fucking gross. Gross. And then not only did you ruin it for Halloween for your entire family, literally you killed your son. Your daughter probably cannot ever trick or treat again because of that experience. Not to mention the 2 neighborhood kids and the poor little church kid who just happened to be in the neighborhood at the time, and their parents. Like, how dare you do that? But not only that.
So I'm still confused though. Did he tell this guy to give them out pixie sticks, or did he give them?
No, he had packed them. He had done them before and had them in the back of his leg or in the car or something and went and gotten them. Yeah.
Bro.
And then not to mention the fact that you literally made it to where every person in your entire area had to bring all of their kids candy.
You ruined everyone's Halloween for years, probably.
Yeah,
still.
for years. No, people, that's why he's literally called, some people call him the Candy Man. I'm like, nope, that's not you. That's a whole nother serial killer. Some people call him the Pixie Stick Killer. Literally don't give a fuck to even call you that. The only name you get from me is not the Candyman, not the Pixie Stick Killer. You are the man who killed Halloween.
Yeah.
For every child in your area. You are a piece of shit. I don't want to say he deserved to die, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that a lot of people deserve to die. But I don't know. Things like this really make me question my stance on
absolutely
that type of punishment. Because I just couldn't say that if it was my husband who did that to my family.
And it just seems so easily to me. Like it was done so
he's a family annihilator. That is exactly what he is. In debt, secret, doesn't want to tell anybody what he's doing.
Was just like, yeah, and he just did it. He's like, here, son, this is the one.
Right, like forcing
in front of your wife?
Literally. Poor Diane and Elizabeth.
On the holiday?
On the holiday. And then the next morning, you're calling about the insurance policy? Like, first off, you didn't even hide your tracks. You didn't give a flying fuck to even try to.
You're asking to get caught.
Right. And like, then.
You know why? Because he said, I don't got to pay bills in jail.
And he's like, not guilty. And they're like, bro, you literally bought the 5 pixie sticks and you bought potassium cyanide. You forced your son to eat this and you magically pulled these out of your ass from a house where there was nobody home.
And he forgot it at first, remember?
Yeah, he was like,
I don't know where it's at. Actually, I remember it was this guy. Cracked it just ever so slightly.
Where I could see his hairy fucking arm.
Peered around the corner. It was all dark.
Like,
real dark.
Bro, like, I just can't. Like, I don't know. I have such a hard time with.
Well, and it started the movement to every year, Facebook, always check the Halloween candy.
Well, that's like always been like a tale that people have said. And it's because there's people even before him.
Because there's fucking sickos.
There's fucking sickos. It's just so.
On that note, always check your children's Halloween candy.
Always.
Even if it's from your husband. I mean, we're not saying this to fearmonger. But to tell you the truth, I realize that most of the candy handed out on the holiday is likely purchased at Walmart the day before and then shoved into the plastic pumpkin-shaped bowl. Or my mom, she had the one with the smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, my mom had the one with a hand.
I knew she would. I knew she fucking would. You probably realize that most sane people don't poison candy or put glass in it or whatever cautionary urban legend that you've heard. But the only guy who did it to his own son, like we just heard. So those neighbors of yours, don't treat them like criminals. They're just trying to innocently give the kiddos some sweets. So be nice to them.
We just need a neighborhood that is only true crime podcasters. That's like the safest place to go.
I love
trick-or-treating.
This warning regards a phenomenon that I'm about to give you that has no apparent origin. What I mean is no one is really sure where it comes from. So the candy in question we don't even know where it comes from. You can't purchase it at any stores, and looking it up online results in there's no results. The candy, this aforementioned phenomenon, appears to be that of like a cinnamon jawbreaker. Not to be confused with the Atomic Fireball brand.
Oh, yeah.
Or any other similar sweet, but it usually resembles a red tinted gumball or a red lollipop with no stick. The point being, it's rather generic in appearance, which makes it tricky to spot the real deal. The candy is sometimes branded under the HH Sweets Company, a corporation that doesn't exist, at least not one that's registered by any agency since 1999. If you search the internet, you might find some HH Sweets businesses, but I assure you that they're not the real deal, merely just a namesake coincidence. If the label carries the HH name, beneath it is a tagline that will read something to the effect of, hot as hell, sweet as heaven. Not all of the candies sport the branding, but it certainly helps to spot them. This is why I'd advise you, if you find yourself or your kids with an unmarked red candy, the safest bet is to throw the sucker away. Documentation of the phenomenon only dates back to 2007, but there is the possibility that it's gone on for far longer. As of this, a known 9 people have ingested the candy, 4 of which being children under the age of 18. Each case has happened on October 31st, Halloween night, with the most cases occurring during 2016, total of 3 victims. The only clues as to the candy's appearance and branding is through the eyes of witnesses and subsequent investigations of any nearby and the opened candy wrappers. Each of the victims' corpses, aside from the heads, remained untouched. The heads, however, are where things get strange. Trigger warning.
Oh, shit.
Each of the heads is completely burnt, like a used match.
Stop.
This would make identification of the victims troublesome, except for the fact that fingerprint analysis lent itself fittingly to the nature of these deaths, considering that the hands of the deceased were completely intact. None of the victims were related in any way, with the only exception being a father and his 9-year-old daughter, Andy and Mary Kay Winfield from Lexington, Virginia. All of the others shared no relation other than the candy. An eyewitness report from Brevard, North Carolina documented the full story behind the mysterious death of 12-year-old boy Shane Davis, who died on the Halloween of 2009. Quote, I was leaving the pharmacy at around 8:30 when it happened. He, as in David, was walking down the block in a zombie costume. I didn't even notice him at first because it was dark and the costume was dark. But then there was this flash of orange light, like someone lighting a candle. I turned around and this heat wave hit me in the face. And the smell, oh my God, it smelled like cooked meat. His head was on fire. There were people screaming, but there was nothing that we could do. He screamed only for a moment, but then he hit the pavement. I'll never unsee it. There were rumors that it was this hex from a witch or something, and I'm not a superstitious man, but when you see something like that, superstition doesn't seem too far off, you know? End quote. Similar reports were documented for many of the other victims shortly after ingesting the candy. The victim's head would burst into flames, and soon thereafter, the victim would succumb to the injury and die. Many rumors and theories have since popped up surrounding the deaths and the candy. Many include witches and spells, but some have garnered significant following beyond the regional folklore. One of the most popular rumors cites the death as a result of the 1982 execution of Henry Hyson Cassidy, or H.H. Cassidy, a candy maker from Onondaga, Virginia, the site of the first documented death from 2007. Cassidy, a local candy maker, was placed on trial for the disappearances of 2 young girls from the neighboring town. Despite having no apparent motive for abducting 2 young girls, the candy maker was charged as a reasonable suspect, having access to sweets for alluring the children. Following a local investigation where one of the girls' bodies was discovered with candy in her pocket, Cassidy was charged with the murders and sentenced to death. Children from the town who once loved the sweets made by the candy maker began calling Cassidy the Witch of Onondaga, making him one of the earliest male witches of legend. Being found guilty in a hasty trial, Cassidy was sentenced to death by molten metal, a process considered barbaric except in a case of an accused witch. Cassidy, who swore his innocence until his death, had a molten metal ball dropped into his throat. While a quick death, it was certainly not painless. The townsfolk remarked that justice was served on that day and the body was buried in this shallow grave. Given that Andy and Mary Kay Winfield were also from Virginia, many speculated that the spirit of Cassidy returned to punish those responsible for his death, using his signature candy as a way to torment the descendants of his accusers. The name, too, H.H. Cassidy, would explain the name on the wrappers, H.H. Sweets. Another popular theory is usually referred to as the jack-o'-lantern story. Based on the Irish myth, the story goes that a man known as Stingy Jack tricked the devil on multiple occasions, resulting in his banishment from hell as well as heaven, as he was a trickster at heart. The man forced to roam the earth, lit coal within a turnip, and has been using it ever since to light his eternal path. The story, clearly rooted in the Halloween tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns, has been used to explain the candy too. Stingy Jack, as he's referred to, seeks out souls to join him in his eternal punishment. The candy, which burns the head off of its consumers, turns them into somewhat crude jack-o'-lantern, and this would explain the fiery demise of his victims, as well as its connection to the celebration of Halloween. In conjunction with the Stingy Jack narrative, there are some who conclude that candy is the work of the devil himself, tormenting unsuspecting holiday celebratories with death merely for the fun of it. A rather sick trick, yes, but then again, mischief is a commonplace in the celebration of Halloween. As for this theory, the HH label would stand for Hell's Hottest, or some other variation of the hell, like alliteration of hell. Despite these varying backstories to the candy, there is a far more grounded explanation that many have subscribed to. Rather than reading into the HH Sweets mythology, some conclude that HH Sweets is precisely what it claims to be, a candy company. The motive for committing these crimes is, at large, still a mystery, but these theories cut out the claims of ghosts and devils, suggesting instead that a select few sickos had the willpower to conjure up sweets with the intent to kill. In the end, no one theory is correct, at least not one that can be confirmed by traditional means. A candy that is, for lack of better terms, supernatural can only be explained by the supernatural, making it extremely difficult to verify any of the information regarding it. If you wish to avoid the grisly results of the candy, it is always advised to check your children's Halloween candy. Better yet, avoid the trick-or-treating tradition altogether. I disagree. Or, if you're highly concerned, perhaps it would be best to simply skip Halloween altogether. I don't like his end stories, but that is nuts.
That is crazy.
Guys, that's a creepypasta.
It's a
by
creepypasta.
the way.
We just wanted to give you something extra weird and spooky.
But it was good creepypasta. It was like a good true crime paranormal creepypasta.
It was. And it's like a little bit rooted in like facts and truth. Like there was a lot in that was
some of them I'm like, wait, is that person real?
Yeah, literally like
they did good. The writer, he, she, they.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Let me tell you who actually wrote it.
Yeah, tell us. And where did you
it's from Creepypasta.
Bro, can I literally talk? No, it was so good. I love creepypastas. They're some of my faves.
Well, the username's blocked out. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's titled Always Check the Candy. It's a creepypasta.
and we'll link it for you guys. at the
Unless
bottom.
it's Mac Ralston. It could be Mac Ralston.
Maybe. Wow, that's a good one.
Isn't that a good one?
It's a good one. It is a good one. But you know what? Where did the correlation, other than just like the mischief and the darkness and witchcraft, like where did Satan, why do people say it's Satan's birthday? It's literally not.
Oh, that's just fucking
That's just some like
people saying that
some
shit.
bullshit. Like, why do y'all fucking lie?
Yeah, don't
What-
fucking lie.
I mean, literally lie about everything. Like, that is literally not the truth.
yeah,
It's not the truth
at all.
at all.
Literally.
At all. Like,
It doesn't come from any sort of any like.
no like factual background. Morgan's just eating popcorn in the middle of this.
Sorry,
my
my
God.
hand was drawing me to the bag.
Oh yeah.
And it's made by HH Pop Secret.
HH pop culture cute cool girls named Creeps and Crimes.
Anyway, guys, happy Halloween. We'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah, we got you a spooky surprise. And I love this episode. I'm glad. Now, did we end it on a low note? Absolutely. We sure did. We sure did bring it back with
We
truth
tricked them a
around
little.
it.
Did we trick you guys?
I think we did.
That's probably the easiest creepypasta to trick someone with.
Right, because it literally, some of it you're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh,
yeah,
Virginia.
that's,
okay.
yeah, that happened.
Oh, okay.
And then you're like, what the fuck?
Amy Winfield, where?
Where? What the fuck? Setting on by HH? What, bitch?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. We love a St. Patty's version of an episode. They're just so fun because Morgan and I get to go back and forth, and it's not each of us talking for 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know,
Much better.
they're so fun. Anyways, we love you guys so much, and happy Halloween. Be safe with your kids when you go out. If you're going out to a party, be careful about
Don't eat red candy.
what you're drinking. Like if you're going to like a college party, you know, double check your shit.
Send us pics of your outfit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Tag us in your outfits for
Tag us.
Halloween. I'm so
Someone
excited
be
to see
us. Someone be
Stop.
us right now.
Someone dress up as Taylor and Morgan right now. Right now.
No, we're serious.
Oh my God. I would literally vomit if someone put
No, I would love to see how they portrayed me. I'd be like, oh, okay, so okay,
Don't
never
even
mind.
say what you're about to say. Don't even say what you're about to say to demean yourself. Don't do that.
All right, bye. guys.
Bye. Love you. But which version of Taylor would they be? Would they be Converse
They
Taylor?
could dress. You guys, if you want outfits ideas, you could be Bonnie and Kai. Wear a blue wig and a white wig.
Oh my God. You're Bonnie and
and
Kai.
you could be Bonnie and Kai.
If you don't know who Bonnie and
Kai.
Kai is, that's our second, 3 logos ago. 1, 2, 3, 4 logos ago now with our new logo included.
Anyway, if you want to be
Love
Bonnie and Kai,
ya.
you need some inspo, just send us a DM. We'll send you a pic of it.
Yeah, we'll let you know exactly.
All black
what we look
outfit, blue wig for me, white wig for Kai.
like. Yep, and red lip for Kai as well. No, for Bonnie. I'm Bonnie, you're Kai. Should we be Bonnie and Kai? for Halloween?
We're literally not doing anything for Halloween.
You're right. We're going to be sleeping. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.